For generations, Americans have been told a simple financial truth. Buy a house. Pay the mortgage and one day you'll be wealthy. It became the foundation of the American dream. Parents taught it to their children. Financial advisors repeated it. Politicians encouraged it. Entire industries were built around it. But what if one of the most trusted beliefs in America isn't entirely true? What if your home isn't actually an investment at all? The idea sounds outrageous. After all, home prices have risen for decades. Millions of homeowners have accumulated equity. Entire fortunes have been built through real estate. Yet beneath the surface lies a financial distinction that most people never learn. Because when global economic crises strike, when markets collapse, when inflation surges, and when recessions destroy wealth, the difference between an asset and an investment suddenly becomes critical. Tonight, we're uncovering a financial myth so powerful that it has shaped generations of Amy wealth, and understanding it could completely change how you think about money, property, and the future of your family's wealth. In the aftermath of World War II, America experienced one of the greatest housing booms in history. New suburbs appeared almost overnight. Mortgages became accessible. Home ownership exploded. Politicians celebrated it as a path toward stability and prosperity. Over time, a powerful narrative emerged. Your home is your biggest investment. At first glance, the story made perfect sense. Home prices generally increased. Families accumulated equity. Many retirees eventually sold homes for far more than they originally paid. But hidden inside that success story was a subtle misunderstanding. An investment is traditionally an asset purchased with the expectation of generating income or productive returns. Stocks generate profits through businesses. Bonds generate interest. Rental properties generate cash flow. Your primary residence does none of those things. In fact, it continuously consumes money through mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, insurance, repairs, renovations, and utilities. Yet millions of Americans began viewing their homes as wealth, producing machines rather than expensive places to live. The distinction seemed irrelevant during good times. As prices climbed year after year, nobody questioned the assumption. But every major economic crisis eventually exposes the difference between an appreciating asset and a true investment. And the global economy is entering a period where that difference may matter more than ever before. The financial crisis of 2008 shocked the world. Americans who believed their homes were guaranteed investments suddenly watched trillions of dollars disappear. Entire neighborhoods lost value. Foreclosures exploded. Families discovered that home prices could fall just as dramatically as they had risen. Yet the lesson many people took from 2008 was incomplete. The real story wasn't simply that prices crashed. It was that millions of homeowners realized they couldn't easily access their so-called wealth. A family living inside its own house cannot spend the walls. It cannot buy groceries with equity. It cannot pay bills with appreciation unless it sells, borrows, or refinances. During times of economic stress, liquidity becomes king. Global crises, from financial crashes to inflation shocks, supply chain disruptions, banking instability, and geopolitical conflicts, reveal which assets provide flexibility and which assets create vulnerability. As housing costs surged worldwide over the last decade, many families became wealthier on paper while becoming less financially flexible in reality. Rising property values looked impressive, but larger mortgages, higher taxes, and growing maintenance costs quietly consumed household budgets. Across America and much of the developed world, homeowners experienced a strange contradiction. Their net worth appeared to rise while financial stress increased. The world was discovering that housing wealth and financial freedom are not always the same thing. One reason this myth survives is because people often misunderstand how wealthy investors approach real estate. The average American sees billionaires buying property and assumes homes must be great investments. But look closer. Wealthy investors rarely treat their primary residence as an investment vehicle. Instead, they separate consumption from investing. Their personal home is a lifestyle choice. Their investments are designed to produce income, cash flow, or business growth. This distinction changes everything. A luxury mansion may increase in value over time, but it also generates ongoing expenses. A cash-flowing apartment building, on the other hand, generates revenue every month. One consumes capital, the other produces it. During periods of global uncertainty, investors focus intensely on assets that generate income because income provides resilience. Whether markets rise or fall, productive assets continue working. Yet millions of middle-class families have concentrated most of their wealth inside a single property that produces no direct income. Their financial future becomes heavily dependent on one assumption: housing prices will continue rising. That strategy can work for decades until it doesn't. And history repeatedly shows that global economic shifts have a way of challenging assumptions that once seemed permanent. Today, America faces a housing environment unlike anything seen before. Home prices remain historically elevated. Interest rates have transformed affordability. Younger generations struggle to enter the market. Meanwhile, governments around the world are wrestling with debt, inflation, aging populations, and slowing economic growth. These forces create a troubling question. What happens if future home appreciation slows dramatically? For decades, many families counted on rising property values to compensate for limited savings, insufficient retirement contributions, and stagnant wages. But if the era of rapid housing appreciation begins to fade, millions may discover they were relying on a financial strategy built on assumptions rather than fundamentals. The danger isn't that homeownership is bad. Far from it. Homeownership can provide stability, security, and long-term financial benefits. The danger is believing that a house alone guarantees wealth. Because when an entire society depends on rising home prices to feel richer, it creates a system where future prosperity depends on future buyers paying even more. Eventually, every boom faces limits. And when those limits arrive, the difference between owning a home and owning an investment becomes impossible to ignore. A home can be a wonderful asset. It can protect your family, provide stability, and build equity over time. But a primary residence is not automatically an investment simply because its value increases. True investments generate productive returns. Understanding that distinction may be one of the most important financial lessons. If your home isn't the investment you thought it was, then a bigger question emerges. What happens when millions of Americans reach retirement expecting their house to fund the rest of their lives? Next episode, the retirement time bomb hidden inside America's housing market. Millions of Americans are counting on home equity to save their retirement. But demographic shifts, affordability crises, and economic uncertainty may be setting the stage for a financial shock that few people see coming.